As we wait for Thanksgiving, we also wait on a decision from Lane Kiffin. So, Steve, what are recruits saying, especially Ole Miss recruits? I mean, they're a week from signing day. The fans are anxious. They want an answer. Do recruits?
Yeah, Rivals colleague Adam Gorney had a story this week where he talked to some of the Ole Miss commits. Our Ole Miss site, The Spirit, had another story where they talked with a lot of commits. Some are like, I don't know what he's going to do. I hope to talk to him about it soon. Some are like, he's not leaving. Some are like, why would he want to leave? And so they're holding out hope that he stays. And we've seen Coach Kiffin look like he's had a foot out the door before to Auburn, only to stay in Oxford at Ole Miss. And so we'll see what happens with Coach Kiffin this weekend as some of these other programs throw the kitchen sink at him. Ole Miss and their brass showing him the kitchen sink here is pretty damn good as well. So, but these recruits obviously want him to stay because they've also fallen in love with Ole Miss, that community, that program, that campus. But they see themselves thriving within that football program at Ole Miss. And if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU in Florida, it just changes everything about, for some of those kids, maybe it won't change much, but for others, it certainly will. And for this 2026 recruiting class, they're obviously so close to signing their letters of intent. And to find out less than a week, because the Egg Bowl's Friday, we might even know Friday morning. I think Pete Nakos, our colleague, reported that things could leak by Friday morning. What he's going to do, it doesn't give him much time to scramble and pivot. But I can tell you right now, there's college football recruiting offices waiting to pounce on these Ole Miss commits in 2026 and 2027 if Coach Kiffin does end up leaving.
So, yeah, I mean, it's so crazy because, one, you got the Ole Miss side of things, right? I mean, if he stays, all good, and there's not a whole lot of movement. But if he leaves, one, you got the vacancy at Ole Miss and how those recruits are going to react to that. But also, if Lane Kiffin's going to another program, he's going to want to address that. He's going to want to get some of his guys in as quickly as he can. Do you expect Lane Kiffin to kind of hit the ground running?
Yeah, for what Coach Kiffin does on the recruiting trail, he is not known as like this dogged,
True.
uh, consistent head coach recruiter. He counts on his front office staff led by Billy Glasscock, and then his coaches lead the charge on the recruiting trail for him. So obviously he's a finisher, a closer, in a way of just making people feel comfortable around him. And then also he's able to point to this track record of success specifically on offense. But now the run that he's had at Ole Miss, we haven't seen anything like it for 50 years or so. And so Coach Kiffin's tracking for a statue in Oxford right now, a program that's number 6 in the country, a non-Egg Bowl letdown, a way of hosting a college football playoff game, maybe even playing for the SEC championship, depending on what happens in other ball games. That would be hilarious if Ole Miss backdoors into the SEC title game, adding another log to this fire. But we won't know what happens with that until Sunday or Saturday with the Alabama game. I don't know all the math. A&M's playing Texas on Friday. That's pivotal to Ole Miss playing in the SEC title game. It would be Alabama versus A&M right now, but Georgia has the tiebreaker over Ole Miss, and those are the other two schools that are mathematically alive, I believe. But Lane Kiffin, he's got all the job security in the world at Ole Miss right now. He's built this program into a playoff contender. He's got the support of the fans. They let him be himself there. We'll see if these jobs and thoughts of coaching at the likes of Florida and LSU early in his career are influential to him late in his career. And the Ole Miss commits wait in the meantime.
All right, Steve. So what's your prediction here? What do you think? If you could get in the mind of Lane Kiffin, what do you think he's going to do?
Well, that's the thing. So many people that have worked alongside him or know him in college football talk about how unpredictable he is. So I think it weighs heavy on him, and he goes back and forth. And his processes seem to be out there more than when other coaches go through their processes. So it's kind of like a real recruiting. Like, this team's hot. Now this team's hot. Might be the original team when all said and done. So Coach Kiffin, he is unpredictable in what he does. I wish this Egg Bowl was in Oxford to add to more of the drama, but it's in Starkville, and it's a huge game for Mississippi State because they're 5-6, and they've shown that some terrific growth in Jeff Lebby's program, and they want to win this game so they can get 15 more practices and play in a bowl game. So it's a huge opportunity for them to knock off Ole Miss, and then we'll see what happens with Coach Kiffin. But there's a lot of great coaches out there for all of these programs, and Coach Kiffin's the kind of the domino that gets it going, right? Because once he makes his decision or doesn't, LSU, Florida have to pivot, or Ole Miss has to do something. So it'll be interesting to see who's out there. But you're seeing these salaries being thrown around. Like whatever these programs are offering Lane Kiffin to get him to stay, just instantly call Kenny Dillingham and give him the same, in my opinion, because he is someone that is an offensive guru, in my opinion. He is an absolute player's coach. He is a terrific head coach recruiter. He is someone that is going to continue or create a fantastic culture within your program. He's going to represent you well. He's coached in the SEC. He's coached in the ACC. He's coached in the Big Ten. He's coached at powerhouse programs. And he is someone that has great instincts for the job. He's going to compete in the transfer portal, and he knows what he's looking for in players that will fit in his culture. So whoever misses on Lane Kiffin, you have the just delete Lane, just take some white out, put it on Lane's name, write Kenny Dillingham on there, and send it to his agent and get it done for what would be a hellacious pivot, and someone that would hit the ground running, and someone that I think could maybe even have more prowess on the recruiting trail than Coach Kiffin right away if they went head to head.
Yeah. And, I think anybody that's taken basic Econ 101 can understand why this Lane Kiffin sweepstakes is just ballooning in terms of salary, because there's not a lot of great coaches. And when you got high demand, you got all these programs that have fired coaches, and you got no supply, you're going to drive up price. And we're seeing that's what's happening. And also, I think there's a bit of ego involved in this. I mean, if you watch the fan bases on the LSU side, on the Ole Miss side, on the Florida Gator side, these three programs probably aren't the top tier of the SEC, Texas, Georgia, Texas A&M, but they are battling for that. If you got tier 1A, you got 1B right below it with LSU and Florida, and, Ole Miss wants to be there. And I think what's happening is kind of a representation of all this, right? Like UF and LSU feel like in any other year, they should be able to go and steal Ole Miss's coach. Ole Miss feels, hey, we want to prove a point. This is a new era of college football, and Lane Kiffin can now win in Oxford, and Lane Kiffin staying would represent that. So I think that there's a lot of, feelings involved in this coaching search as well, which is kind of ratcheting up all the excitement. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully by the end of this weekend, everybody will know. You guys talk to us. Where do you think Lane Kiffin is going? Is he staying? Is he going? And if he goes, what city will it be to? Let us know.